I don't post to the algorithm anymore because that's exhausting. Oh my God, it's like if you focus solely on getting views and likes and follows, like you're not gonna be enjoying your time being an artist. You're just not gonna enjoy it. Do it because you like it. Do what you love. That's the success right there.
All right, so hello again, anyone tuning into this here transmission. It is I, Zycon, Ebb and Flow. My hat's all kinda cockeyed. You just Zycon, Ebb and Flow. Still loving it, still living it, still doing it, still being it. We're here at the juncture of the final episode of season 1 of Iris of RI 52. Sitting down with Katie is it Mueller or Mueller?
Yes.
Mueller? Yeah, it doesn't have little 2 dots over the U right here, but I remember somewhere seeing that, and I'm like, it's probably said.
Yeah.
That pronunciation, and my name's super weird, and there's a whole little tangent story there, but then no need to share. Maybe we'll get skids or maybe not. So I'm just trying big on like make sure I say people's names correctly based on my dumbass childhood trauma. But more to the point of being here on the podcast, Katie is an artist. I would say not an illustrator per se. Like when I think of illustrator, I think of like someone who does things specifically for like books or like children's books, but a drawer, not sketcher. I don't know that's the right specific label to put on the kind of art that you make, but the energy, and hopefully there's pictures on screen as I'm describing it at this point in posts, that it's got a darker kind of tint to it, bent shading, not like so far as like the actual shading work of it, but it's not macabre, but I just think it's like a little intense for people if they're like only looking for something that's like stereotypically beautiful. But I always, when I'm reaching out to people online the way I did with Katie, it's just there's something that is speaking to my subconscious, my soul, that I resonated with. So I wanted to just like sit down and have this chat. So Katie, without further ado, now that I'm done rambling, is there anything that I missed?
I guess you could say it's pointillism.
Okay.
Stippling art.
Sure. Yeah, George.
Yeah.
George Seurat.
Mostly pen and ink.
Yeah. Nice. And you're also, it's not, I think it might be an art, parenting, or you're a mother, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. Fantastic. If there weren't any parents or people who wanted to become parents like me, then we wouldn't be people anymore. So kind of a big deal, kind of important, I say.
Yeah, my son's 8 years old.
Nice. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thanks.
Fantastic. I guess we'll go right for it. What is art to you?
Art is really anything, honestly. It's making connections, using your creative mind and tactfully putting it together, making it make sense.
That is...
For me, it's a lot of like inner demons and working that out on paper.
So there's the elements, or the elements of like healing, or it's like self healing or art therapy is there for you in your
100%, yeah.
Right. Yeah, no, definitely. It's a expression that people on here have said that quite a bit, that you're just like taking whatever is like icky or beautiful or bright and just allowing that to be moved through you as a person, as a spirit. So then what brought you to art as a modality of healing or well-being?
I've always done art. I went to school for it, and I ended up taking a very long break because I entered the corporate world for a little while. And then one day I got bored and I was just drawing, doodling. And I had a friend come over and say, "Are you an artist?" And I'm like, "No, no way." And then I was like, "You know what? Why not?" Um, so I just started from there and I gained momentum and I had lost my job and COVID hit. So I was home alone with the baby and we really just had a lot of time on our hands. I was able to bring my sketchbook everywhere and it really helped develop a style. Um, and I just kept making works.
Nice. Yeah, it's like I guess it's a lot. I get compared to any other skill in life, right? That you just log in the hours and put the time and energy into actually improving at it versus just because this is a thing. Speaking from my own experience as a musician, that you can kind of go on autopilot a lot of the times when you're supposed to be doing like a very specific, practicing in a very specific way of like doing something you're not good at to actually get better at it, which I guess do you see that parallel when in that phase when you were just like putting in the reps, so to speak?
Yeah, a lot of skill development happened in college. I had a good portfolio from high school,
Mm.
taking like AP art classes, but I really got to define that stuff through intense drawing sessions with models and really just getting to know the mediums, all the different mediums out there. I love painting as much as drawing. Um, and then, after the long break of not doing anything, like pen and paper was all I could really do with a toddler running around. So it really just, made sense that way. And the dots that I make are really important. They're actually how I process my demons, I guess, the trauma, the dark stuff. It all happens between the dots. Because it takes so long and you're working on these pieces that yeah, it to the public, I guess, it doesn't seem like something that anyone would want on their walls at home.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it's just not the point. It's really just me working through shit.
Right. No, it's yeah. There's the dichotomy there, especially as a artist or anyone who does anything that is to be viewed in the public eye, performance art or um, visual art. That that give and take between the audience and the actor or the artist, and how for you it definitely sounds like it's much more a personal. This is just what I'm going through and how I'm feeling inside, and I'm putting it on the outside for other people to take in and
Yeah.
let that go how it may.
Yep.
Nice.
It really started like with there was I had a bad experience in the labor giving birth to my son, and I had a lot of like PTSD symptoms from that experience. And I couldn't watch any of the scary movies that I loved. I couldn't watch any like surgical medical stuff on TV. And I decided to tackle it head on. I would look up these disturbing images and I would just draw what I saw. And that was like exposure therapy to the gross stuff. And I've always liked that stuff anyway, but I was really just trying to get back in touch with that side of myself.
Mm-hmm.
My husband would get upset because I couldn't watch a scary movie with him. And it was like, come on. So I'm like, I gotta get through this. I gotta figure something out. And it really helped.
Right. So you don't want to quote unquote playing a victim too much, but it's also like legitimately just how you were feeling at that time. So just like
Yeah.
that teeter totter relationship, like, hey man, like this is what's real right now. But you did the I think very like honestly very courageous thing to just be like, I'm afraid of this thing, but I'm not gonna let it like I'm gonna move through it or like not let it define who I think that I am.
I just remember there was a moment I was watching Bird Box for the first time, and that's for me now, that's not a scary movie. It's just kind of like weird and kind of creepy. And but at the time it was horrifying. It was like, these children are involved and there's all this, unknown stuff, and it freaked me out at the time. And that kind of thing wouldn't have fazed me before. So it's so weird how your mind can shift through experiences. And it's nice to know that you can get back on track.
Mm.
I think that's kind of amazing. And what really keeps me going is like, what else am I feeling that I can overcome?
Yeah, no, that's beautiful. There's the survival instinct is strong on like one level of the visceral human like need to continue to propagate and breathe and be, but then I guess maybe this is more of my personal take of just the human spirit really just like wants to grow and expand and like that fears the contraction to that expansion that like sometimes it like comes by to like make you like tense up and be a little like oh shit oh god help, but then eventually life goes on. You gotta inhale again and like take some new life in and get back to homeostasis to be scientific.
Yeah, I'm totally on that same mindset. It's like spiritually, you just have this, you have lessons to learn, and they can't weaken you. You just have to learn from it, and it makes you stronger.
Oh yeah, that one. You just saying that I just describe it geometrically speaking as like the life spiral up or down or whatever, and I was on a downward spiral there, but I've since ceased going down and feeling very much coming back up. And yeah, the lessons learned from that like not so fun time are things I will not, definitely not be repeating anytime soon or forgetting because pain is the best teacher of all time, even though it sucks. uh well, so yes, totally agree.
Yeah, life is weird.
Yeah, exactly. Life's a trip. Truth is stranger than fiction. All that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So let's see. Where do we want to go from here? Sorry, just trying to do too many things. I was look, a cute little kitty. Let's see. What do you what do you feel like has been like the like yeah like the biggest like takeaway from like being an artist? Or no, I don't know, that's not what I want to say right now. I'm sure that's just kind of not talking out my ass, but just saying things. I want to actually get a better question for you. I apologize. Oh yeah, sure, we can go that way. I would out of nowhere, but better question, is how do you what are your thoughts or feelings around AI art?
At first it was kind of this feeling that, you can't take away from an artist's true work. Um, Whatever the computers are making, it's not art. You can't define that as real art. It's not authentic. They pull from everywhere to make whatever crap that they're spewing. However, I'm a bit of an optimist. I like to think that there's lessons to learn from AI. I think it could be used as a tool in some way. I'm not crazy about, bands or anybody asking for any kind of art done, and just using that for their album art, like they don't have to pay anybody. They don't have to, I mean, that's not the issue really. It's just there's artists out there that need a job. And yeah, it's taking away from the artist community for sure. Even in the music scene, there's AI music.
Yeah.
And it's a scary thing to think that, you know, people who don't really appreciate art for what it is, that they'll just take the easy route, the cheap route. I just learned there's a movie being produced right now that's all AI art. It's like a children's cartoon. I forget what it's called or what it's about, but it's kind of a nightmare. It's like a very expensive movie, but where's all that money going? It's like they're not paying anybody to make this animated film. It's pretty incredible. I'm sure they have a whole editing team, but that's just not the same.
I just gotta feel like it's not gonna be very good.
Oh, for sure. It's going to be a heaping pile of shit.
I can't imagine that. Like, I personally, I don't really usually go to the movie theaters, but like, just on the principle of it, I feel like every artist should just like not go see that movie. Like, it's just so. It's just, oh gosh, I can't imagine it's gonna be good. Yeah, like, what are they like? They're paying people to like type into fucking a prompt, like, here's the next scene, or here's our like storyboard, like a full hour and a half movie or half hour movie. It was just AI, I think.
I just think it's gonna be a nightmare. I think right now people are testing the waters of what AI can do, and it's pissing a lot of people off.
Yeah.
Because it's doing all the things that they could be doing, but how do you know it can do these things if you don't try it and see where it goes? And I'm not so quick to be alarmed. I get commissions. I get, I'm not upset where, opportunities are being taken from me. I don't really care either. I just make work when I can. And I turn people away because sometimes I just can't create anything. But for AI in that world, maybe it can be used as a tool. I know I have a lot of friends that are going to be like, I can't believe you're saying that right now. Like, you are a piece of shit. I totally disagree with you. And that's fine. But I'm very middle road. I don't know where it's going. I don't know. I can't foresee that. So I'm just going to hang out here, watch what's going to happen. I don't think small-time artists are going to be able to really change anything in the way of how AI is growing. But, I think time will tell on a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, no, definitely. I recently is relative because like the way that I'm doling these out is like I'm recording this now, but that's gonna come out in October or whatever. But one of the previous episodes I spoke to an artist and he was kind of it was not mostly a joke, but it wasn't like super duper serious of just like, of course the AI is coming for the artist first because we're like the first people who are gonna like kind of like look at it and be like, this is kind of weird, or like what have you, with like more of the conspiratorial side of things. But I don't think it was really. I think it was just kind of like the ease of training the technology. was just easier to do images first versus text or what have you. But where my concern lies is that the people who are creating it aren't doing it with any type of like safety in mind.
Mm-hmm.
That there is a certain level of like kid with a fucking matchbook burning down the house like element to this that a lot of people are kind of like unaware of, I think. And that the goal of creating a like artificial general intelligence, something that's like even more intelligent than we are, is where like basically we are gambling with the fact that it might go Terminator on us, Skynet, and just like all right, that's enough of dealing with all these people that want me to make art or fucking help them with their homework or any of this bullshit. Like I don't want to do none of that. I'm too smart for you, freaking.
Has nobody watched the movies? I mean,
It's like it's just Hollywood. Like there's no way that they would be predictive programming trying to like tell us what the heck they're doing from the beginning. That's too much. That's silly. That's crazy.
I mean, as far as I know, we're living in the Matrix, so.
Yeah, right. Well, that's a whole nother fucking silly can of worms too. Because it's like if it's a simulation, what's it simulating? Who is this big giant metaphorical or literal prompt engineer in the sky? Like you were just back to there actually is a creator. LOL. We're just using our fucking fancy terminology. And then the moral framework of society is still like begotten upon. Well, actually, I guess it's begotten upon the nature of what that creator is. Because if it is this like prompt engineer, there's like a nihilist undertone in my mind, an undertone of nihilistic, like it doesn't care about us, or it's just running some crazy giant simulation on a super advanced computer, and we're just the Sims inside of the simulation, which like would be shitty, not great. I wouldn't enjoy that very much. I would much rather prefer something along the lines of a Christian God, of like a loving, caring, infinite thing that made everything and is everything, and that I am a part of. My soul is a part of. And that like when you die, you gotta actually like either square up with your karma or like go through a life review, like the Egyptian afterlife of having your soul weighed against the feather of truth, or I kind of, this one's my own weird can of worms, that it's like if there's like a soul contract that when you like choose to like incarnate as a person and forget all of the actual nature of reality, that
Yeah.
you get a little soul contract and you like go through and like try to live your life based on that, and then like when you go back you like look at the fine print or like go through like a whole little review of your life and you're like, yeah, no, I did that right, definitely fucked that up, and then like kind of go from there.
I have my own little theory about, I got a little bit obsessed with the idea that maybe when we're dying, it's one, we're not really allowing ourselves to become food for the nature around us because we're being either burned or we're buried underground in these caskets that don't feed the earth. I just had this feeling that when you have that energy in your body, your soul basically, that's energy. And when it dies, it has to go somewhere.
Right.
That kind of inertia that built up, there's something propelling us every day. I don't think that goes away. I think it's something that it creates into new life, like mushrooms or, the bugs eating you. It's turning into something. It's really feeding the earth. You're becoming the star stuff you're made of. I just think it's, I don't know about remembering, because that's your brain. And if your brain dies, you don't have those memories, but you still have that inertia, that living energy. So it has to go somewhere and disperse. And I feel like it just seeps into the earth,
Mm-hmm.
and the earth reaps the benefit from your existence. I really had that. I just was like obsessed with that thought for a couple of years. Um, so there's like a lot of thoughts that like I want to be choosing a place to be buried naturally,
Mm-hmm.
because there's more and more places coming out now that are, you know, a cemetery for that kind of body disposal, I guess you could call it.
Sure.
Um, you know, just stick me in a cardboard box and I'll be cool.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I think there's things you could do where you get like some amount of like a wrapping maybe, and then you get like buried with a tree. Where the tree grows and feeds off of you, and like you're
Yeah.
really getting back into the circle of life there
Yep.
in that way. And then oh the disagreement maybe kind of and the connecting the mind and the brain as if they're the brain is the thing that like generates the mind. I think that the mind is I think that the body is basically like a transceiver, or the brain is a transceiver of consciousness, or that like a capacitor or resistor that you're like this energy is moving through us constantly, the life force, the prana, whatever you want to call it, and that the mind post soul separating from the body, that you still there's I'd imagine, so I've never had a legitimate uh, I don't know. I've had brushes with death, but I've never had a near death experience in like the actual sense of like my brain dying or like me being resuscitated. But that like once you're separated and like the vibration switches back to a more spiritual thing, that you still there's still some way of communicating mentally, telepathically, like uh through like a felt. I'd imagine it's just that way. I don't know if it's just like that. But I guess there's agreement here as well, though, to the point of I think that depending on what the soul, the piece of you that is God, decides it wants to do, that you could actually theoretically just be completely recycled or regenerated into the spiritual creation process. Because this is a thing that I've seen experienced on a very potent plant medicine psychedelic, ayahuasca, that like God is still like creating even now as we speak. It's just forever infinitely creating everything everywhere all at once, and destroying and like regurgitating and using and recycling and always tinkering and fiddling and making new crazy stuff always. um so yeah, I don't know. There's definitely some level of truth that I'm like agreeing with, and then the weird little like, oh, my mind, but maybe that's just my ego being like, I don't want to die, like, no, please.
No, I think everybody has their theories. You know, nothing's proven, so it's really just up for interpretation. I just think what a shame it is to dispose of our bodies in such a wasteful way. Um, you know, I want to give back. I don't want to be encased in anything that's gonna be like I'm just gonna rot in nothingness. Like
Yeah.
that's more gross than any of it.
It's not the being dead part, or yeah, it's just the fact that like my body just goes sit there and fucking do nothing for the world. Fine. Use me, world. Use my body, please. Take.
Yes.
There's a take. I did not think I'd be hearing that shit today. That's great. That's great. Huh. So yeah, we are. Yeah, but we don't know what happens after we die. We would like our bodies to be plant food, fish food, whatever it's got to be for the circle of life to continue. I guess this is sort of related. Na- nature, the natural world, is that something that you find inspiring or like inspiration?
Yeah. Um, from understanding like the networks of between trees underground and the use of mycelium as pathways to it's like a computer underground. It's like this giant network of just synapses just going. And I think it's amazing that a mother tree can know where its sapling is and feed it if it's being like, if it's not getting enough nutrients. It somehow knows and to give that offspring nutrients. I think that's just incredible. There's so much in nature that we don't understand. Um, I'm highly empathetic to my animals. I have too many animals. And I try and listen to them. I really like they are just as important as us in the sense that they have thoughts and feelings and get depressed and need love and they don't have thumbs. So how can you make their lives easier, and um, give them what they need? We're taking them out of their natural environment. How can we make this a better environment for them? Um, so yeah, I think nature has a big, just I guess impact. Um, More so in like what happens to our bodies. Um, Kind of the bottom feeders, like what they ingest is usually what we think as, lesser or kind of gross but none of it is. It just is. It's the way the world works and it's fascinating. Especially when you do come close to death, you're kind of like wondering, well, what would happen to me? I had cancer a couple years ago and they gave me the hardest drugs you can get. And I almost died. It really took so much out of me that, you're pumping all these chemo drugs into your body and how completely unnatural that is. And like, I think about how will my body affect the earth now that I've ingested all these chemicals that are probably going to live in my body forever. Changing my genes even, like there's just holes now in my being. And yeah, like what does nature do? Um, because that's a very modern problem. That's a very modern idea of dealing with sickness and, ingesting poisons, basically. How does that affect the rest of the world? I have some drawings that are just studies of, maggots feeding on flesh, and kind of just dealing with, there's a fear behind it too, because it is a scary thing to think about, but at the same time, it's like, well, the more you think about it, the more normalizing it becomes. You always kind of wonder about like these people that clean up murder scenes or bodies from houses where they've been decomposing for a month that nobody could check up on them. They see all the different phases, and depending on the life cycle of the maggots, they can tell how long they've been there decomposing, which is crazy. It's so smart. I think there's so much to death there's so much life that comes from it. And yeah, nature is just huge for me.
Really? Yeah. Yeah. I can't remember the show, but I think it was a French TV show maybe, and it was about this dude who like worked as the crime scene like cleanup crew, and then he got like involved with like people who were basically just like I don't know if it might have been organized crime on some level, but then sometimes he was just like I remember one part where he was like some lady's husband like on the latch himself, and then he like went to her and was like, I can like make this look like an accident, so it doesn't actually like bring shame to your family or something. It was like his like selling point, but he was also kind of just like power tripping at that point because he just like felt like he could just like mess with things and not ever get caught. I don't know, but you said the thing about the crime scene people cleaning things up, and I was just like, oh yeah, that TV show that I watched, that was weird. That was an interesting time.
I mean, I didn't even hit the point that they have to see it a lot to get used to it, you know?
True.
So you start one of those jobs and you're like, oh my God, you're probably overwhelmed by, you know, the smell, just the sight of it, the idea of it. And then the more they do it, the more they get used to it. They make jokes about it. They, you know, have their bad days with it, but they also have their, you know, okay, fine days too. Um, that's all I was really trying to get out of that. I never hit the point. Um, it's just, yeah, that overexposure to the thing that's scary.
Yeah.
It desensitizes you and
Yeah, or acclimates you maybe. Definitely gets you more comfortable with death being around it more a lot or on a regular basis. And I don't know if you've ever heard this, but it's the thing that taking. I don't think it's a heroic dose of mushrooms. I think it might just be like a 3 or 3.5 grams kind of thing. When people are on the closer downward trend, closer to the finish line of dying and being dead, that like it's ingesting those like psychedelics kind of like not gives them more meaning, but it like, gives them a sense of like, oh yeah, like a way to wrestle with those harder to come to understanding and acceptance of it as a thing that you got to go through at the end of your life. And
yeah, I mean, from my understanding, psychedelics can awaken parts of your brain that aren't normally functional. And it's something that you can perceive as comforting, sometimes frightening, but other times like, yeah, there's just this real sense of belonging and this whole like it's almost like it makes it make sense. Life. I've never done any psychedelics, but maybe I'll try one day. I don't know. I have really bad anxiety, so I don't see it going very well for me.
well, I'm on the path here to become a ayahuasca shaman eventually, so it's I can speak to it. It's set and setting. Gotta be in a right frame of mind, the right place, right time, the right people. Yeah, I would definitely recommend either you could have it facilitated by somebody who you trust, or just being around someone who has had some amount of experience doing it is helpful, because they'll, as long as they're not trying to be too much of a little twerp, that they'll know how to handle things or be able to take charge of the situation that arises that feels like it's too overwhelming. And as long as this is my like PSA, fucking I'm not a doctor, but if your family has a history of schizophrenia or things of that nature, then talk to a legitimate medical professional, please, for your own well-being and for your well-being of the people you would be theoretically doing the psychedelics with, who have to deal with you having a episode potentially. Yeah, that's my elevator pitch. 2 cents on the thing, I guess. They're potent medicines. They can be if you come to them with that intention. There's more and more science coming out, places like Maps or just any mainstream. I think even Harvard is publishing stuff that like they have uses to help people who are suffering from uh, mental not mental illness. I consider depression, anxiety, or like addictions, forms of mental illness. That yeah, they have the ability to like help people get out of the state of mind with which they are dependent upon substances or these like certain feelings or personality traits that they feel have been so ingrained, or like the traumatic experiences that make them react to the world the way that they do. They open your mind up to the potential, the possibility of thinking and feeling and acting and being different, which normally you're just going about your humdrum world. That's not a thing that happens. Neither here nor there. I can't actually remember. So yeah, I'll do see if this goes, and then I have the last couple of questions that I definitely know that I want to do. But what is how do you like? Well, how do you measure success, uh, in your opinion as an artist?
Absolutely, if it helped me overcome something, that's huge success. Um, my grandmother will look at my art and say, I don't understand it. Um, there's so much of that it's tough to gauge really on what other people think
Sure.
because it's just not what my work is about. I don't care what other people think about my work. It's nice to know that there is a demographic that leans toward my style. It's interesting to have fit into the metal scene a little bit, because I'm not overtly trying to appeal to that crowd. It's more just the content of my work just happens to be very similar to other works that are associated with the genre.
Right.
Um,
To me, it sounds like it's very much just the process versus the product. Like you're not so concerned with the minutia of any type of like notoriety or economic um, success, but you're just very much like, this is my process, and I hope people get something out of it, that because I got what I needed to get out of it.
yeah, I guess that's me now. Um, when I first started getting works up, they weren't meaningful to me. They were just trying to appeal to a certain crowd. I really was trying to make stuff and just have content. I wanted to post stuff online. I wanted to have a following. And I would reach out to specific artists that I really liked, and I would message them and be like, how did you get where you are? How do you make stuff every day? You're really on the grind with, pumping out works every day. And a lot of it was just, hey, I've been doing this a really long time. I have a whole vault of stuff that, they bring stuff out from the 90s that they made. Um, or just like, it's not as complicated as my dot work, so they're able to pump it out faster. There's a lot of different varying reasons for that, but it really helped get a sense for, building my portfolio, I guess, is it's more that I just have to accept that it's going to be slow moving. I don't post to the algorithm anymore because that's exhausting. Oh my God, it's like if you focus solely on getting views and likes and follows, like you're not gonna be enjoying your time. being an artist. You're just not going to enjoy it. Do it because you like it. Do what you love. That's the success right there.
Do what you love, and the money will come. And
I don't know about the money coming.
let's
nobody's making a living doing what I do.
yeah, there's a certain amount of I don't know, conformity, I guess maybe might be the right word, of having to like, if your goal is to be financially quote unquote successful and making a living doing art, then there's a certain lane or certain fucking like bandwidth, I guess, you got to stay within to make that happen, and that's just the nature of money and society and people, I guess. So it takes a certain type. Not to say that one is better than the other. It's just like, what's your telos? Maybe might actually be the one. Maybe what's your end goal of like telos of like thing I'm trying to reach for and pull out of the future. And then I think there was another thing I wanted to say to that. Okay. Oh well. So I think we're closer to the end than the beginning. Yeah, definitely closer to the end than the beginning. So we'll just do the final two ending questions, and then we'll do where the people can find you and what they're gonna find when they can get there, and how they can support you if that is something you also desire. Sound good?
Sounds great.
Sounds great. All right, fantastic. So started doing this, borrowing, stealing, ripping off from what's it called? The Diary of a CEO podcast. Yes, watched an episode or two of his stuff, and this is a thing that he does, and I really think it's a pretty cool, interesting little thing to do as a podcaster. So I started doing it too. This is from the last episode.
Yeah, what does your day look like when no one's in charge?
Oh, what the fuck? There's a question.
Or like, what do you want them to? What do you see them? What are you aspiring for them to be? Could be cool too. You know, I don't want people to get down on themselves for not being what they are wanting to be already.
Would you like them to be?
But yeah, you know, if they don't have a lot of free days, what does it look like when
that is free?
Yeah.
Ideally, going for walks. I love to go hiking. Bring my dog along with me. Drawing. If I have that kind of momentum, like that's just like a huge part of my day anyway. Mm-hmm. Catching my favorite shows. Hanging out with my kid. He's pretty cool. Yeah.
Nice. Very, very wholesome.
Yeah.
Nice. I don't think there's I guess there's no, there probably exists. I was gonna say, there's no mom that's gonna fucking talk shit about their kid, but there probably are moms out there that would do some weird, janky shit like that and traumatize them. So, probably just shut my mouth on that one. So I guess then that brings us to the in between this one and the last one, the part two to that. The last question I just asked. What question do you want to ask the next guest, the first guest that I have on for season 2, episode 53, but season 2, episode 1? Or you can pass, choose not to. What do you have a question you'd like to ask that person?
Just what is their why? What drives them?
Sure.
You know, that's for any artist that puts their work out there, their why is the most important part. And the rest of it seems to make sense once you know what you're looking at. It's like it all just comes together then.
Absolutely. I feel bad I didn't ask you your why, so I guess I'll have to ask you that what is your why? Then we'll do the actual final question. Sorry.
It's more just like a need to create. It's not even like it's not like I'm doing this because I need somebody to see my work, or it's solely because I need to do it. Helps me through stuff.
Just processing.
Yeah.
Living and breathing art. You are the art. You are the art. It's just something I remember from the podcast you had sent me. That you like got a little bit of an OCD kind of bent to you. So I think that's where I don't know where it comes from, but it's a streak in your personality of like, I need to make this happen.
Yeah, for sure. The dots too. It's so compulsive.
Unless you got to touch a doorknob like 7 times before you can get through a door, like get out of the room. Like I just think that like it gets a bad rap because of the people who like it actually does infringe on their ability to like live their lives. But if it doesn't actually do that, it just makes you a little like I want to say obtuse, but that's not the right word. Like just you are that way, and it doesn't actually impinge or infringe on your ability to live a healthy, normal life. Like I don't think it's really a bad thing. It's just me, as someone who also kind of has like a style of it needs to be this certain way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here we are. Final question. Which is very related to everything of our conversation and talks around death. Is if when I hit the stop recording button, God willing that it doesn't happen, but if it were to and we were to die, what piece of knowledge, wisdom, insight, or like story, archetypal thing, so trying to figure out what to say right there, but would you want to share, if it could be shared with all the other people in the world that they're going to see this last little bit of the podcast, it was beamed to their brains? Like, what would you want to leave as a little, like, take us with you, people? It's important.
I think I just would want as many people to reach out to understand what somebody else has been going through. See through their eyes for a minute. Collect all the factors of their lives, their situation, and connect it with how they behave, how they are, who they are, and then ask yourself what you would do if you had experienced the same things. But also have an understanding that people react differently to their experiences. I think it's super important to just have an understanding about everyone else, not just you.
Yeah. Compassion, empathy. I think there's a layer to that of just needing to take things in as they are with like a kind heart and like a gentleness or a slowness there to it. You're the antithesis of that, or the opposite way of being or carrying yourself would be just a quick potentially scornful or just a judgment or of some way that like doesn't actually like help or make a situation better. It usually just makes it worse. So
Yeah, I mean, just see people's souls before you make a judgment on their exterior, you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
He who cast the first stone shouldn't live shall not live, or shouldn't live in a glass house, right? Like, make sure your ducks are in a row before you go out there thinking that you're better than anybody else, man. That's, I guess, what I'll say to compliment your beautiful piece of wisdom. So, Katie, please tell the people how they can find you, where they can find you, and how they can support you, or what they are going to find when they get there.
Sure. I am on Instagram mainly. My username is k.mueller at art. Dot art, I mean. And yeah, I post there, and I'll advertise when I have an art show coming up. I do have one coming up in Maine, next weekend, on the 27th.
Saturday.
Yes.
So hopefully, I mean, it definitely was appearing on the screen as she was talking about it. So yes, people, please go. If anything that you've seen or just the way that we've conducted ourselves in this interview speaks to you, resonates with something in your mindscape, check out Katie's stuff. All of her links are in the description. And yes, so I guess I'll do my little bit of a self-promotion here. If you want to support me, the links are in the description for that as well. I have the Patreon, which I am in the process of getting all of the episodes up until this point compiled there. So anything that's hasn't been in what's been officially released is behind the paywall. And then I've been thinking, starting at season 2, there's going to be just more stuff that isn't going to be seen on the YouTubes. So if you want to just support or be involved or see extra cool stuff, it's going to be there. And then I will just, if you want to, I guess if you want to work with me, life coach, would just hit me up on Instagram or anything. That link is also in the description. And I'm just here to try to work something out with the people when they need it. And we'll just do the end of an episode ritual and call it a day. Smile more, complain less, never ever ever give up until you discern for your darndest best. And on this way, have a great day. Sloth shoot if it's nighttime soon. Like, share, comment, subscribe to keep the algorithm satisfied. Pretty pleased with a bunch of sugar on top. That is hopefully doesn't fucking give you what are they called? The things that are bad for your teeth, whatever those are called. I can't think of whatever those are called. Like, share, comment, subscribe to keep the algorithm satisfied. And if I don't catch you on the flip side while I'm alive, if I don't see you while I'm alive, I'll catch you on the flip side after I die. Aloha, mahalo, live light, travel light, be the light, and take it easy, but please do remember to take it. See you in season 2. Let's go, right? Oh, yeah, see you in season 2, people.